Well, this week I had the immense good fortune of going to Brussels to visit the British school in Brussels, and we had a great day. And this is the start of my journey there, early in the morning at Lydney Station, down on the banks of the River Severn. And this was somebody fishing with their little fishing tent. I drew this out of the window. There's the chair in the train on the other side, and as the train goes by along the river, this is an old jetty or something with bits sticking out of the water. And then I had to go to Gloucester Station to change trains to London. Well, this is Gloucester Station, and I am on my way to Brussels. Now, Gloucester Station's a lovely old Great Western station, and it has some of these original cast iron pillars holding up the roofs of the platforms. But some of them, they're worried about bashing into them with the sort of modern platform trucks, and they're going to cast these concrete blocks around them, which I think in conservation terms is kind of criminal, really, isn't it? Anyway, we passed through Reading, and there's this awful building. Reading is probably the most boring town in Britain after Slough. And they built this thing called the Blade, which I think is meant to be some iconic building, but it just looks so bland, and they haven't really done it, I'm afraid. This is on the Underground, going across London, and I just drew the no smoking sign, because I was, first of all, surprised to see it saying no smoking, because nobody smokes anymore, well, not in public, and we sort of don't need to be told. But it's kind of in the London Underground logo design, and it's still using Gill Sands as it has been for, I don't know, years and years now. In the Eurostar Lounge, this couple were kind of chatting away. I drew them. And then from the windows of the Eurostar, while I was waiting to leave, they had these great big windows in St Pancras, and this is another one, all made out of brick, beautifully done. And this is the guy on the platform, the platform attendant. I can't think of a guard. And he has this cute little hat with a little sort of ribbon flash sticking out saying Eurostar, and I wanted to draw it, but he was gone in 2 seconds. And then twice I saw a kind of a landfill site surrounded by a fence. They looked pretty much the same, and each time there was a horse on the top grazing away, which I thought was very strange. And just before the train enters into the Channel Tunnel, there are these chalk sort of escarpment there, and the rain carves these kind of sharp valleys in there. And this is a hang glider that was kind of going past, and that's the shadow. It was a very definite thing. And then also there's a big electricity substation along the side, and they had this amazing pattern of electrical things. I just drew that because I thought it looked really interesting. This is Blackness, sous la Manche, under the sea, and on the other side there's these kind of different style electricity pylons, which I thought was interesting. It was kind of a slurry pond or something. I know what that is. It looks more like a stealth bomber, I think, probably. I know what it is. It's actually a pond. And this is coming outside Lille. This is just a very quick little landscape, very flat, but these big tall church spires. Eurostar is very smooth as it flies through the French countryside. And in Lille, the train stopped, and stopped for a little while, so I drew the seats on the platform and the sign there, a little detail. And I've written here, Lille is like a concrete submarine pen. It's not the most beautiful place to go. Well, I don't know. I mean, the Eurostar platform isn't anyway. On the other side, then there's this. We were going past a canal with these classic French poplar trees along the side, which I drew, which are just coming into leaf, and these kind of church spires and things, which to me are just different, and they're alien and interesting as they're abroad. And this wonderful hillside with the ploughed fields, and there was a big wind turbine there and a water tower there. That was fascinating. And this was an industrial unit, just very modern and stark, just plonked in the middle of a field. It was very strange. And then I saw this waste management centre kind of thing with an interesting chimney, and then the train just stopped and I couldn't see it anymore to finish the drawing. And the train stopped for quite a while and people were tut-tutting. There's a famous poem by Edward Thomas called Addlestrop about a train that pulls up, a steam train that pulls up in the middle of nowhere and nothing happens and a blackbird sings and the train goes on its way. No one gets on or off. And so I just kind of copied that and put, yes, I remember the waste management centre outside Brussels. The sun shone through the new sprung poplars along the Eurostar tracks. Local traffic came to and fro whilst the flagship stood still and silent. We are waiting for a signal. Pleased to thank you for your cooperation. No blackbird sang through the hermetic seals, but a magpie danced along the overhead electric wires. Americans played cards and laughed out loud. Ladies and gentlemen, your train may now continue a journey.
I would like to apologize for this delay, but nevertheless I hope to see you again soon on board Eurostar.
That was my little thoughts while I was sitting there waiting, and everyone was tut-tutting because they had trains to catch and connections to make. This is just beautiful. It's the Museum of Music. And it was beautiful, kind of Art Nouveau building. I was just drawing all these little details on the outside. This is the Cour de Comte. I'm not quite sure what that means, but anyway, this is a kind of a tower, a dome on the top of the building. This is a little kind of window detail with a knight in armour helmet. Great fun. Here we have a street in Brussels, and you come along here, and oh, there it is. Look, this is the mannequin piece. It's tiny. Well, no, I didn't draw that, but it's amazing how they do use that image, even to sell French fries or Belgian fries, frites. And this is what everybody wants to see when they come to Brussels. This is the Grand Place, which is the kind of central square, and it's really quite stunning and sort of fabulous. Then I spent yesterday morning in the Gallery of Ancient Art, looking at beautiful early Flemish paintings and the Bruegels and things, and doing little sketches. This is poor Daphne being turned into a tree. Look at all the fingers turning into leaves. That's pretty hideous, really. And these are little notes I've made for myself. This is a picture of Christ having his feet washed. But then there was this child in the painting who was like a time traveller from some other planet. It was weird. In another painting, there was a house where they had nothing, but they had this little parchment, this little printed thing of St. Christopher. And it was stuck onto the wall with red sealing wax, which I thought was fascinating, and that's what interested me. Because now we have blue tack and things like that, but then they had red sealing wax. And this was, I can't remember, I'm not sure, it wasn't at Bruegel actually. And these were kind of monsters, which I rather like. They kind of got mouths on their tummies and mouths on their bottoms there with tails coming out. And their arms come down into dragons things, and then hands come out. It's a bit like Alien, isn't it, where it's sort of the head comes out of the head. It's great. And this is a beautiful picture here. She looked like she was the cat that got the cream. But what I really like in these old kind of Flemish masters is there's always a window or something you can see out. There's this little view of a beautiful scene in the background. This is a fabulous painting. God and the devil fighting it out, and God sort of tearing a hole in the clouds, and there's a huge great rain and everything happening, and the devil's up there flying, and they're kind of shouting words at each other. This is this great kind of little town on top of this weird outcrop of rock here. I love this. This is a carved alabaster kind of bust of the head of a woman, Victorian lady, with these ringlets, and they just look like carrots. I've got to draw a picture of a lady with carrots hanging off her head one day. Because I had red hair and everybody used to call me Carrot Top when I was a boy. And then this was in the cathedral. That's right, I went around the cathedral, this fantastic altar. with a sheet of glass on the top, which was held up by 2 pelicans, which was really interesting. Also in the cathedral was this fantastic carved pulpit. It was huge and just so intricately carved. And I'm not sure which this Archangel Michael or something, like fighting with his flaming sword. It's fantastic. It's a sword with flames on it. It's kind of an early Jedi Knight kind of. And what was really beautiful, all around the top had these tassels, carved wooden tassels, but they were all swinging in different directions in the wind. There was such attention to detail. And this is now then returning on the way home on Eurostar on the overhead cables. And the way they were connected up, it kind of reminded me of some of this Art Nouveau kind of design here. I was also been looking at the atomium, which is kind of like the Brussels version of the Eiffel Tower. It's their sort of central iconic thing, which I'd always thought was much more complicated, but in fact it's a cube with a ball in the middle. I thought it was a much more complicated shape than that. And these two were great. There was an American-Canadian couple came and sat opposite me on the way home, and they had these 2 kids, and they put a laptop in front of them, and they shared one half of an earpiece each, and they sat there for 2 hours, glued to the screen. And this little boy had the most astonishing, fierce attention. It's absolutely wonderful. And that's, I think, all my drawings.
Now, this is Ruth, who is the rock of literacy at the British International School here.
British International School of Brussels.
British International School of Brussels. Right, okay. And this is the street that they're in, and it's full of cherry blossom that is falling like snow.
The school was in an everyday house in the middle of a street, but it was full of all these amazing Art Deco details, and light poured through the ceilings, through these stained glass wonders. The staircase was fantastic with this sort of cuboid Art Deco ceiling. Wonderful place. Belgium is the home of tinting. I do love this pleaching thing they do with trees. So they sort of squeeze them into boxes, and the branches come out almost like one of those mime artists pushing an invisible box. This is looking at it from the inside. At the other end of the parade of trees, it looks like extreme knitters have attacked and made their mark. Well, many thanks to the British School in Brussels for making it all possible. If you enjoyed that, go and have a look at one of my other sketchbooks, or take a chance with a mystery drawing. Either way, make sure you're subscribed for free on YouTube. And in the meantime, keep drawing. Practice. Get that sketchbook out. And I'll see you next time. You take care now. Bye-bye.